Sorry about the video. If you guys are coming into this, because the way I have to do this is on my phone. But bear in mind the title. So if you can get that out of the way, hopefully you understand. My laptop is kind of screwed up right now, so the only way I can make this video is like this. With that said, okay, there's a reason why I would say don't mess with certain texture mods and body mods on console. Now, you won't always. Some of you guys might have heard about the term dreaded neck seam, right? Well, it is kind of a thing even on PC, but on console, it's even more trickier to get rid of compared to the PC. The reason why is because, as you could see, I don't know if you guys can make out the details. I'm scrolling through a list here. You might not be able to notice it on my screen. Maybe you might, I don't know. But you might notice that the top half of the character's face is a little bit different than the body. Normally, the body, especially when you come over to the female, like if you switch over, you immediately notice the seam a little bit. If you guys can make that out. So, if you guys are wondering if any of you guys ever had this, what can you do to get rid of it? Honestly, I've tried following every single person's advice out there. I've looked up countless videos on this, and I even did things myself. No matter what I did, whether it was hard reset, deleting mods, clearing the cache, reserve, all that kind of stuff. Any kind of mods that can basically fix the next theme, any of that stuff, none of it worked. I think it's a permanent thing on console. When I first started using a body thing, it didn't really do this at first. I don't know what I did. There was something I put, and when you read it, the description compared to the console, you have to set it when you use it CBBE or let's say UNP for example on the console side. There's certain things that conflict. For example, some things don't work well with others. You might notice how pale and much more pasty and bright. What skin is that? Well, originally I there was a skin thing I wanted to try that I never tried before. It's called tempered skins or whatever it's called. I'm not. It's like a fair skin complexion type. Well, there's three different options you could basically choose from. There's a smooth, there's a rugged, and then there's a weathered. The weathered is kind of like an in between, whereas the smooth is kind of like what you see here. Well, I tried the smooth just to see what it did, but looking at it on the guys, while it didn't look as bad at first, I wasn't. When you start getting into the game, it's a little too bright, especially for the. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. It was a little too bright, to look at on them. So I figured it's like, okay, I wasn't really liking this, so I went to switch. I wanted to try the other one, see if that would make a difference. Well, come to find out, it did not. Apparently, it did not like that very much because what ended up happening was it kind of brought back their vanilla face a little bit, the default, what you guys normally see, but then it kind of mismatched with the body as you see it here. So whenever I use any other kind of texture mod now, this is the result that you end up seeing. So I in future reference, if you guys ever have this, you may not have any other choice but to not use a body mod in the future. So if you had a favorite and let's say you accidentally did something that you shouldn't have, well, unfortunately, and I've tried all kinds of different things, and yeah, and it didn't go away. So, just be careful, because people think you can't play these games without mods. You can. I'm not saying I'm not against mods or anything like that, but people who say you can't enjoy Skyrim without mods, they're not telling the truth. I get it, the graphics are older and things like that, but a game is a game, is the way I see it anyway. So, because you scroll over, you might notice here's a couple of other body mites types that, like I said, that you could use. There's all kinds of different things you could try. Now, you see there's a little bit of a lighter complexion, as I mentioned previously. So yeah, there's no, it's like I some people say, well, if you just get rid of all your mods, yeah, you'll go into the game. Yeah, it'll load up normally if you don't have mods on there. Yeah, of
You picked
course
a
it won't,
bad time to
because
come onto
there's,
Skyrim, kinsman.
it's just a base
Captain,
character, you know what I
what
mean?
should we
There's
do?
nothing else you could
She's
do
not on the
about the
list.
character or anything like that.
Forget the
So
list.
yeah.
She goes to the block.
By your orders, Captain.
That's
Then
funny.
sorry. At least you'll die here, in your homeland. Follow the...
But, that's the thing about it. So you go in creations, okay. Sophia was one. Now, does it mess them up? No, because Sophia was created by. If you guys have a follower like Sophia or Inigo, anybody like that, Titan. I had never tried him, but I've heard different things. Uh, People sometimes say some followers can make things a little bit difficult for people. I don't really know. I just try doing things that I'm kind of used to do using, you know. And like I said, when I first started using mods, I didn't get no neck seam or anything like that. It didn't happen. But but when you're reading descriptions, a lot of times when you see a body mod like CBBE or you know UNP, or for example, skinny body, uh, you get a description of different things that it'll tell you. And usually on the console side, you get kind of a all in one sort of thing. So you don't get just a body. Because you have to figure the reason why is body slide is not available. It's not available on console. So unlike on the PC where you can kind of go in and kind of make some adjustments and maybe fix a little bit of the problem. But over here, it's like, okay, there's only so much you could basically minimize about it. It's a permanent thing, you know. At least from what I could tell. Those of you guys could say otherwise. I don't know. So I'm just cautioning people, now, if for those of you that have tried this and maybe whatever things you did, maybe if it worked for you guys, that's all good. But for whatever reason, it has not worked for me at all. So I had to completely throw that save out and, start a new save. So I could use other mods. Don't get me wrong. Other mods don't really cause the problem. But as soon as I load any kind of, it doesn't matter what the body mod is, whether it's, you know, a skin or just a body replacer, it doesn't matter what it is. It automatically converts to their vanilla face, the vanilla face with their neck with the tempered skin's body. Now, I did read that, but like I said, the skin on the console side. If you get tempered skins on, for Skyrim on the Xbox, it's a two-in-one thing. It doesn't just come by itself. So if you get tempered, if on the PC side, you have more options for that. Where okay, you could place the body first and then apply the skin or whatever type of skin texture you want with it. But a lot of things you see like there, there's different ones you could use and all kinds of things like that. But you have to be careful about what exactly which ones you want to put on here because some things seem to conflict with another. And the worst thing about this game is some people would say, can you live with it? I mean, yeah, if it doesn't bother you that much, I mean, you can still play the game. But considering your character is tied into the world with all the rest of the NPCs, I think it would be a bit weird and strange how everybody all has a bad looking neck and the rest of their body doesn't really line up correctly, right? So that would make for a very weird experience, I would say. You also have things like better vanilla skin. I never tried that, so there's a bunch of different things you could try, do. There's the UNP one, like I said. This was something I tried. This is the only one that never gave me problems. Now, this is on the console side, but I can't use this. I can't really use it anymore. I'm just giving you guys a definition on my older save just to kind of show you what it was like and what happened over there. I have since had a new save now to where, I don't have that problem anymore. So yeah, after I took the mods off and things like that, if you go into a previous save, what will happen is some of your NPCs, for example, you know, I'm just doing this as a test. This isn't going to be a save I'm going to keep in the future. This is just something I'm going to show you. You might notice somebody behind me. Yeah, because you notice that I don't have the next team anymore with this character. Yeah, that's because I took all the mods off and it reverts back to vanilla. Unfortunately, however, not everything is as it seems, because if I come over this way, off to the right, Sven's mom, for example, take a look at Sven's mom. She don't have any clothes on as a result. And if I go, we'll see if I can find her. She's usually walking around someplace. Let's see if I can find her though. Uh, yep, there she is. Girder is also without clothes on. Now, why? Why is she without her clothes and some NPCs have them on? Because if, let's say you have, let's say, okay, you have the next seed, but if you kept what, certain, there are certain armor types that apply with certain body types that you get. So if you get like UNP or CBBE or something like that, or any type of skin texture mod, whatever it is, usually the modder kind of goes in and it kind of adjusts the outfits a little bit for the for the male and female. So if you when you go to take it off to try to deal with that problem, unfortunately some of the females will be missing some clothes. you know so it's like, is there a way you can get it back? Not really. I mean, I wish you could, but so I just wanted to basically give people some pointers about what to be careful about. So if you want to avoid like the dreaded neck seam or something like that, just be careful. I would only highly recommend just either just taking Caliente's all in one, or just go with the UNP all in one. If Because that was my mistake on the console side. On PC, like I said, you have more options for that. So yeah. Now, on my other save, I have another account where I can actually use those same mods, and it doesn't affect my second profile. But on my account with the game, unfortunately, if I go to use any kind of body mods now, it automatically kind of reverts to like what you saw at the beginning. So for her, for example, originally she was wearing something else. I came over here just to kind of show you guys her. She's somebody you could also chop wood for. But originally, when I had the mods on, her appearance was slightly different to what you're seeing. So obviously, this is back to vanilla. Surprisingly, she has her clothes on though, so I was a little surprised to see that she kind of has her clothes, because coming this way, I also ran into Rhea, one of the companions from the, you know, one of those people. She happened to be walking around this way. I ran into her, and yeah, she was missing her clothes, and that was kind of funny to see. So, uh, you know, I always say that's the thing about mods. One of the worst things about mods sometimes is it comes down to texture mods and skin mods, body mods. I don't know what it is with those. Like, there's other things you could basically install, and they usually run just fine. But some things are a little bit more tricky than another. Some people wonder is like, what causes it? I don't know. I think there's too many. You have to figure what people who make mods, everybody kind of has their own idea of how they want a body to come out. So, unfortunately, somebody else's idea might conflict with what they're trying to do. And if you do this, or that even goes with like, I'm not just, it doesn't just apply to, skin and texture mods, but even just things like, I don't know, city overhauls and adding trees, environmental things, things like that. There's all kind of things that, can easily go wrong with mods. And you just never know what could conflict with another thing. That's why whenever it comes to mods, for those of you that are watching, if you're kind of fairly new to the game, but you wanna give uh, mods a try. You haven't really tried too much yet. I would say use this video as a as a benchmarking tool to kind of go about carefully doing certain things, because order placement is more important on PC than it is on console. But even on console, though, they'll still tell you, okay, you need to put this mod here, or you need to place it high or low in the order, and it'll tell you where you have to place it. But some mods don't always lay that out, in full detail like you would think. So yeah, so that's usually the way that goes. Other than that, that's all I have to say for this. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out there in the future. Like I said, I apologize doing this on the phone. So if you guys like the video, subscribe. I don't make videos all the time, but here or there, I may throw out some Skyrim stuff because I play the game a lot. You know what I mean? And I enjoy the game both with mods and without mods. Just mods, when they work well, I will say, can make life a lot easier for you. But when they don't work right, everything can go bad. And that's the part about mods that can easily make or break a game for you sometimes, because it's not the game itself. You have to figure the game is older. So that's to be expected. So other than that, guys, that's all I have for this video. So take care.